Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and nerds, it's time for the daily TVP. You heard? It's daily number 641, where we're going to learn to be a better gamer via the virtuous and ingenious play of MMA. In tonight's daily, here's what we're going to do. I'm sure you've played many a game where you have a game plan, and it's all beautiful and elaborate. And then your opponent all-ins you, and you want to kill something. Like a duck. Snap its little ducky neck. And we, like ducks, we want to keep them alive. So in today's daily, we're going to learn how to have a plan that has a start-to-finish full game follow-through, and how we will adjust that plan based upon the potential all-innedness and oddedness of our opponents. Oh, cracking the neck and beat. Oh, cool. We're doing dailies all week. Day 9's day off on Friday. Have no clue what it will be, but next Monday, please submit to me a replay of you playing in a 4v4 that winds up being the closest, most nail-biting, action-packed game you have ever played. Please submit that to Monday at day9.tv. Now, before we begin, let me say if you have any stress anywhere else in your life, if you're having a troublesome relationship, an annoying issue at school, or perhaps a self-esteem ain't doing what it should be doing, I'm telling you you're fucking awesome. Allow me to say, take a break from all that, because we're going to have some fun and watch some games. Yes! I'm in a good mood today, so I have to do litter for the cats after this, but other than that, I'm feeling quite good. So yeah, let's talk about getting cheese and how much it sucks. It sucks. Ooh. Right before the show, like at around 5, I was talking to some friends who hadn't played StarCraft in a while. I was like, oh yeah, let's just hop on to a 3v3. So we hopped on, and then we all got Dark Templar rushed by the same guy. Like each of us had a mule just land, and then the DTs showed up, and we immediately died. And it was one of those like sort of moments. And I know that a lot of people have this with StarCraft 2, that feeling of you have a plan and you're going down and everything's great, and then you just get sideswiped by something kooky. Or even worse, when your opponent isn't even doing something cheesy and all-in-ish, just odd. Just weird. So what do we do with the build? One of two things happens. Players tend to continue to follow their plan blindly and lose because they're not adapting, or they abandon the plan entirely and wind up losing because it's something new and unfamiliar and not very well thought out. What we're going to do is see the in-between. We're going to see the in-between, where we have a long-term game plan, a long-term goal that's going to be this extremely awesome. Look at this camera angle. Oh, yeah. This is the screenshot for the daily. This is so good. We're going to have a plan, and rather than change our plan, we're simply going to detour to be able to come back. I've talked about this a lot, and we're going to see a number of examples. Let's go ahead and hop into this game. This is from the EU Grand Finals, where we have SKMC, one of my favorite players of all time, one of the most brilliant players of all time. And same story for Acer's MMA. One of the best, one of the most brilliant, one of the most famed. The map's going to be Whirlwind. I'm going to go ahead and get this party started with the sound on, with the mouse cursor confinement off, and with the selected bars. Wow, everything's going so great today. Game number 1 is going to do two things. First, it's going to establish for us what is the long-term build order of MMA. We're going to see it's a long-term, nice, clearly focused build for a macro game. The second game we're going to see is going to be this exact build versus a cheese. And then we're going to do 2 more games after that, where we're going to again see MMA doing a nice build for a long-term game plan, and then the same build, but versus a cheese. Really good. What's very nice is that this isn't just going to be a game where we see what the long-term plan is and then leave it. We're actually going to see some kookiness out of MC. I'll tell you right off the bat, MC is going to be going fast triple nexus into 8 gateway double twilight council for fast blink and charge. And then he's going to go 12 gate blink charge. Just fucked up. But that's okay, because it's not going to affect the early build for MMA. So, in other words, this first game is going to be a clear game plan with a slight adjustment, as opposed to a clear game plan with a heinous, huge, dramatic, terrifying adjustment. We're going to see that in game 2. So first and foremost, an early expand. What are the cats doing? What are the cats doing? Oh my god, if they pooped under there, I'm going to be so upset. Alright, look. Barracks going down after Command Center. Command Center first, Barracks, Barracks. MMA is going to be sending out a scout later. Now, as a quiz question, alright guys, ready for the quiz? Here's the quiz. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is he sending out a scout so late? The quiz ends in 3, 2, 1. For 2 reasons. 1, it ain't gonna change his build. If he spots an early rush, he's not gonna be doing anything any different. He's already started the command center. And why would he not want to scout before building the command center? Even if this was a 2-player map, the reason he wouldn't want to do that is because it's so much more important to get the barracks faster than it is to know that the rush is coming. Boom! Ah, yes, Ain't Funny says because reasons. Hello, Anthony. Anthony actually told me the etymology of his name. Once upon a time, a professor kept calling him Anthony. And so his friends changed it to Ain't Funny. Ah, yes. Okay, cool. So we see this long-term game plan from MMA really rearing its beautiful and fantastic head. It's one of my favorite heads. It's got a good head. That's not something you would use to compliment a close friend or perhaps a lover. The thing about you is I love your cranium, your head. It's such a good head. What a beautiful head. Oh, Cameron Diaz, fine head. We want to choose other things. And of course, and it's not face. Face is also bad. Honey, you have such a beautiful face. You're my sweetie face. Never remember. Never forget. Face. Face, face, face. Come here, snuggle face. Ugh, that's gross. Anyways, we see MMA doing some just broad, cool moves. Getting 2 refineries before this extra barracks. He's already set himself up the defense. Continuing to scout out what? Any potential cheese, as well as checking for a turd.
Add-on complete.
With this very early double gas, we see MMA even getting an engineering bay long before a factory. Often players will go factory eBay or factory and then starport eBay. Hell no, not if you're MMA. Hooray. More like it. Look at that early ass upgrade. He spots the triple nexus. I want to note, up to this point, MMA hasn't adjusted anything. He's gone early expand, double barracks, and then he's scouted and expand. He goes double gas and then eBay with a barracks, and then he scouts a third. So this is really a long-term plan from MMA. It was scripted. Now he may have, for instance, if he had seen no expansion from Protoss, he may have built an extra bunker, he may have delayed the engineering bay. But pretty much everyone early expands these days, so this is great. This is gorgeous. Pre-planned play from MMA. Third refinery comes up right as that engineering bay is getting underway because he's going to be going starport medevac with add-ons. So cool. Now, I'm going to stop around 7:30. So everything up to now has been this elegant, pre-planned, very smartly thought out build. This is the sort of thing that you go to single player and you just practice all alone. All alone. Or you do what I do and you get on Skype and start talking to a friend and say, no, I'm going to test a build. And then you get into the build, like mentally into the build. And suddenly you remember, oh shit, I'm on the phone with a friend that I'm supposed to be paying attention to. My bad, sorry. You can't be optimized, my friend. Let's optimize this friendship because I appreciate your head so much. And not in that way, no. Like your literal head. Speaking of literal head, look at this hair literally. This hair is intense. Literally. It actually, it makes my head seem like volumetrically like maybe 30% bigger than it is. Is how I deceive ladies and gents into thinking I have an excessive brain space. Did you see how much his frontal lobe demands? It actually started to grow up above his brain and into his hair. What is so interesting under the sofa? I don't know what's under the sofa, but it had better be a living animal, because if it is poop, then we got two problems. One is that I got to clean up some poop, and the second one is that the cats are investigating their poop. Both require therapy. Everything's looking good. So what does MMA do now? He's seen this third. This is where we bring up the initial story question that prompted this daily. WTF now? How do we adjust this play now? This is often where you'll see the player mess up. He will either follow along his build bluntly and blindly, or he will try to go, no, all in attack, and just die. So let's watch what MMA gets up and gets gone done doing. Really cool answer already. He throws down 2 barracks before 8 minutes. 8:30 to 9 is traditionally where we either build 2 barracks or get a command center. He's doing it at like 7:45, very, very early. The way he's able to do this is certainly that he has already gotten himself up the command center quite early here. But also these add-ons. By throwing down the add-ons, he saved himself enough money to get these barracks. Let's go ahead and see that happen in action. Because it's very subtle, or as this girl I knew in 7th grade said, it's very subtle. We have a good chunk of change right now. Now imagine if we go Marauder, Marine, Marine. That's $200 right there. All the cash gets spent. We have 65 minerals remaining, which will be probably enough to be building our next depot, which we see, is finishing up, but we can also get the next one started. I mean, our economy is doing just fine. Here's a nice trick to go into macro mode. So let's look at that money. Ba-bam. And it did say additional supply depots required, but I mean, this one's about to finish. Throws this down. Now, how do we even begin to spend money? We can't. Because we have our things that spend money, the barracks, those are preoccupied. So we throw down 2 barracks. It's like a little pause in time. And then hopefully we'll have enough of an economy when when these 2 barracks are done to begin to power stuff out. Nice. So this be a gorgeous little build order. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Getting Marauders, getting Marines. Nah, I mean, look at this. As this add-on finishes just enough, these 2 Marauders getting queued up, it's just barely enough. We haven't built a 3rd command center. MMA is, in short, saying, I would rather try to blast this down with aggression than try to catch back up in economy. Perfectly fine statement to make, as long as you dedicate to it properly. And don't think MMA won't be doing that, because that's exactly what he'll be all up on doing up in this heezy breezy. By the way, if I'm sounding cool and straight thuggin' enough, please send an email to feedback@day9.tv saying, word up straight thuggin', because Stephanie, the community manager, would lol.
Add-on. Research complete.
Great. Send in some scoots, oot, and a boot. I think this is the important one. I'm just going to go ahead and speed things up a little bit. Alright, so we got some medevacs en route. We're going to be getting a +1 armor upgrade soon. Not a lot of scouting has gone on right now, and that's fine. Also, 2 more medevacs. Very reasonable. Marines being produced out of all these because it's a way to make things just a smidge cheaper. Being replaced by Marauders now.
Additional research.
Now, at this point in time, MMA has no idea if he's going to be up against Colossus, Gateway units, Dark Templar, Storm. He's just getting on in the front. We have 4 medevacs out right now. I know it said 3 before, but there they are. There's 4. He sees a lot of stalkers. He's backing up and getting his command center. So what is he seeing? He sees a lot of gateway units. Nice. Here's another adjustment moment. Now, certainly what MMA wants is and this is where I want to just make the statement. When you try to answer your opponent, MMA would be in a bad spot, again, if you try to do something totally weird in left field. Before the game even begins, you know it's a really great statement to make? I'm going to have like 3 base, I'm going to have like 8 barracks, churning out the MMA, I'm going to get to have some ghosts, a starport or 2, building me some Vikings, and definitely those juicy upgrades. So with all that said, this is all the stuff that we eventually want. So when we see this sort of play, we don't want to come up with something different, like maybe Blue Flame Hellions are going to be totally kick-ass here. We don't want that. We want to pick an answer that's in that box. So given that we've seen 3 bases, given that we've seen the sort of gateway unit heavy, what's a good answer? Well, MMA, he's just going to go straight for engineering bay and armory. No medevacs being produced. He's focusing heavy on the barracks units. Let's see what other cool stuff comes up. Finally adding on 2 medevacs. We looked at this a little bit in that Polt Daily. See some more blasting action happening, trying to pick stuff off while he's microing his little butt off. Speeding things up, speeding things up. He got these 5 barracks quite early, so was able to macro off them fairly efficiently. We're also just going to see this non-stop aggression, trying to prod holes. Upgrades, the big first tool he selects. Not really going to be so complex. I think he actually just wins here. Yeah, great. Now, if you're in this position and you're doing damage, what's the next thing you would add on? The answer is going to be barracks. Just barracks, 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 throwing those down, continuing to leverage the fact that if we're getting upgrades from Marine Marauder, we may as well continue that. So we're going to know not a dramatic, huge upgrade, or excuse me, not a dramatic, huge adjustment or change, but still a slight one. Oh, you're going for an early expand? Triple Nexus? Okay, great. In that circumstance, I will throw down 2 barracks very, very, very early. Really, really beautiful response by MMA. Loved it. And then followed it up by going for really fast double upgrades. At the cost of what? No Ghost Academy, no extra barracks, no extra medevacs is another really huge one. And then did really well. But that was more of the framing game. That's to just sort of get our juices flowing, to get our brain working. I'm going to close that game, and we're going to open up a game on Derelict Watcher. Okay. We're going to see the same opening from MMA. Command Center first, with the double barracks. What is he going to do then? MMA cam. Alright, let's check it out. Now, many of you may have seen this game before, but we're going to be taking a pretty strong look at the more subtle aspects of it. I'll tell you right now that MC is going to be going for a big Blink Stalker play. Trying to really kill MMA fast. This is a good map to do it on. We have this big wide open ridge where we can blink up here, we can blink up. We can actually put a sentry there and force field and then blink up. It's really, really potent on this map. MC does a little bit of harass, but what do you know? Command Center first, followed by barracks, barracks. This is perhaps one of the most subtle, cool things that MMA is going to be doing.
Our SCVs are under attack. Complete.
He gets in there, he sees the mothership core, he sees both gases done. He doesn't yet see an expand. He sees a zealot. So right now, MMA, he's getting a little curious. Now, in the last game, you'll recall, oh yeah, MMA, who saw the expansion, got his 2 gas geysers right away. In this game, he's getting that bunker, and he's also getting this 3rd barracks first. there's differences already, but they're not going to wind MMA up in a different place. In the first game, he sees the expand, he goes double refinery and then barracks. In this game, he sees no expand. He's going to go barracks and then double refinery. He's going to wind up at the same spot. But when we slow it down, we go, ooh, this is really cool. What a really nice, great way. Yeah, I mean, every player is going to get these 2 refineries. Every player is going to get these 3 barracks in this position. But it's this ordering that makes MMA so good. And here this SCV beginning to make his way forward. What is he going to see? Uh-oh. There's a mothership core moving in. Oh, very fortunate SCV manages to get up and see no expand. And in fact, having just begun mining gas, he sees the gateways going down. Alas, alas.
SCVs are under attack.
Excuse me, he sees Twilight Council. He knows everything that's up. Oh me gosh. So in fact, I'm going to pull back right here. You already know that that's one of the things that MMA is going to do, but here's where I'm going to stop part 1. What is MMA going to do? I know it's very easy to simply say, oh, well, he knows the blink all-in's going to happen, so he should just answer in way blah, where blah, not only a noise that a vampire makes, is the perfect answer to blink. But remember, we're not looking to just stop blink stalker play. We're trying to figure out a way to hold that off without abandoning our existing plan. And when we come back in part 2, we're going to see a very elegant and very clever way that MMA does that. In the break, I want you to think about all the pieces that MMA wants way down the line. All the things down the line and how to get there. Or excuse me, all the things down the line, and as a result, how we're going to get to there. Even though we're answering blink, we should still be getting to that juicy spot. Stay tuned and whatnot, and this, that, and the other. You know what? I'm thinking we listen to a little bit of music.